boys right here, so... Oh, we topped it. He cold topped it. Okay. Better get up. Yeah. Eight iron. Oh, he shanked it. Oh, look at that line, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, boy, is he on the sink.
Welcome to the Bogey Boys podcast.
You're joined here by Mark and Kevin, and we've got a special guest, Mr. Tom Gandy.
Yeah, how's it going, boys? You all right?
Yeah,
I'm all right, mate. How are
Thanks
you?
for having me. Yeah, all good, all good.
Oh, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you taking the time, mate. Definitely.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Yeah, not the first time we've met, is it, Tom?
No. Tea rooms, a few pints.
Tea rooms, that's it.
I must have missed my invite to that one.
Yeah, it's still in the post, I think.
You can get on the next one.
Yeah.
How's things, Tom? How's life in? Believe you're in isolation at the minute. Just got back traveling.
Yeah.
You're back home at the minute.
Well, I'm not even at home. I'm isolating in a family friend's house. I couldn't go home, unfortunately, to isolate. So I'm in this house. It's up for sale, so there's no furniture, there's no nothing. So I'm sleeping on a mattress on the floor. It's
Oh wow.
Not much crack, like. But.
So what you're saying is we're the highlight of your day, then?
Yeah, basically, I've done nothing all day apart from speak to you boys.
If there's anything else more important, like pin positions or whatever, you probably wouldn't have bothered, would
you?
Yeah. So how's things been, mate? All right.
Yeah, good. I did 2 weeks in Spain, challenge tour, and then I'm approaching the end of my 2 weeks isolation. So the whole of November I've been in a bubble or in isolation, like so.
Yeah, strange times. Well, this is obviously the next part of our professional route, as Kev mentioned there, Tom. You've got full playing rights on the challenge tour and exemption on the European tour, so you've mixed between both tours this year, haven't you? The new world of golf. So we'll definitely be talking all about your journey. But first of all, obviously the reason for these episodes and these routes is just to get some insight into your full journey from how you got into golf, how your golf journey's been, and getting to the point where you turned professional. So just from a beginning perspective, what was it that got you into golf in the beginning, Tom?
Yeah, well, my old man was captain of my local club where I'm still represent now, Rowney Golf Club. So he'd have been captain when I was 5, but we kind of were up there a bit anyway. He always liked the beer in the clubhouse. It's a good club for that sort of side of things. So me and my brothers, I've got an elder brother and a younger brother. We all grew up practicing together and playing together. So my mum used to take us up, or Dad would sit in the clubhouse and have a beer with the boys, and we'd be out the back practicing and that from kids, really.
What a life.
Living the dream. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then, we come back to it, sort of just did that as a young kid, and then come back to it school age 10, 11. And I'm sure you boys sort of similar things, sort of 36 holes a day in summer and drop at the golf club and leave
that
us there.
That seems to be the common theme, what we're getting. Summer, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, as many holes as you can.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, isn't it? You do so many laps of the putting green, having your putt to win the Open, your putt to win the Masters, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Unbelievable, yeah. Chip and comps a lot.
Exactly. It was good. It was me and my brothers and another group of lads similar age. So there was sort of probably 10, 12 of us who all in a way spurred each other on, if you know what I mean. So it was quite
a bit
good.
Of competition, yeah. That's what you need, isn't it? When you're younger, we've had the same as we've grew up. Yeah, there's a good group. You're all off a similar handicaps, similar age as such, and you as you say, you take each other on, don't you?
Exactly, yeah. It just brings everybody along, and it keeps it, as a kid, all you're after is fun anyway, isn't it? And if your mates are doing it, you're winning, aren't you?
Definitely, yeah. So when did you get to, obviously you're starting off playing for a bit of fun there, just going down more of a family thing. When did it get to the point where you thought, you know what, I'm actually all right at this game? And what was your handicap? How did your handicap change growing up?
I can't remember the point that I got to scratch. I know my first handicap was 48. I remember that. But,
I think you're the highest that we've had.
There you go.
Yeah,
you're probably the best we've had.
Yeah, I was a proper chopper. So it was kind of like that. And then at 16 in the men's Isle of Man County Championships, I shot 2 over, I think, first round, and then I was 4 under second round, and it was like junior record at the course, and I qualified, and then I played 8-time champion in the first round. I beat him age 16, and it was like, I don't know, it was sort of the start of things for me, really.
You've arrived, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I kind of played for the Isle of Man junior team for a bit, but we weren't ever. It was always like the big six against Lancashire, Yorkshire, you boys, you know, and we never were competitive. So it wasn't like you didn't get a great deal out of that. But then that at 16 got me into the men's sort of squad selections and stuff, which was good. A great start, really.
That was the first time you really competed against like top level golfers at that point, then around the 16 age, was it?
Yeah, I mean, that was just on island as well. So, I mean, I started to go off island then playing for like the men's team when I was about 18, 19. All the while I was obviously in education and that at that point. And then I did my degree on island as well. And it kind of, as you go through your degree and you're doing less hours in class, say, I spent more and more time practicing, if you know what I mean. So yeah. I come out the back of that age 21 and it was like, well, I'm going to go play a bit. I'm getting pretty good. I've been away with one of my mates a few times, played sort of national stuff, played a lot of Northern Order Merit 36 holders and that. Yeah. And I kind of had a bit of success, nothing major, but I felt like if other people could do it, why can't I? So got pretty serious then.
How was that then? Obviously, because I don't imagine it's cheap to travel over here and play all those type of events. How was it? How was that financially and things? And was that a blocker for you then? Or?
Yeah, it was quite tough. It was one of my good mate, the lad that was going at the time, he was working in the bank over here, and he was getting the summers off to go away and play. So he'd save, and I'd kind of jump in with him in the car on the ferry and split costs and stuff. But I've always worked in a bank as well. So like I'd work over winter and then golf through the summer and stuff. But when I was at school, I was sort of job sharing with a woman who was she had a young kid, so she was term time. I was non-term time. So if I was out of school, I was in work sort of thing. So I'd always try save, and my mum helped me out a bit towards the back end of that as well, which was massive. So yeah, that's how it went really.
Yeah, wasn't you saying there, Tom, when you're playing national level and stuff, how does it work with the Isle of Man? Do they compete like against England or counties, or how does it go?
Yeah, we're classed as a county of England in golf worlds. Yeah, so we've always had the English handicap system and all that. So we've been one of the northern counties as long as I've ever known it, really. So
I see.
That then made that at the next sort of stage, I got selected for England because we were technically English, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Even though I don't have any English blood in me, like, but yeah.
Isle of Man through and through, lovely.
Yeah.
Good lad. So how's it? Just talk us through your amateur career then. Obviously, you've set the scene there. You're obviously playing county level at a young age for the Isle of Man team, and you just mentioned there you got to national. So how did that come about? Obviously, you're playing in Northern Order Merit. Were you winning much? Yeah. What was happening there?
I don't think the only Northern Order Merit title I think I ever won was the Lancashire Links Trophy, S&A and Formby Air. The overall, I didn't even win one of the individual ones. I just won the 72 whole thing.
Yeah.
But I just had some good results. I think I had quite a few top threes, top fives and stuff. Obviously, at that point in time, Mark Young, John Carroll, boys like that, you ain't beating them around the course. You don't know as well as them, but do you know what I mean? It was a lot of really good standard of golf.
He used to clean up. I think Carroll's still cleaning up now, I think.
I'm sure he is, yeah. I'd love to know how much he's won over the years, like. But yeah, I kind of did all right there. And I just was coming over more and more with my mate. And it come out the back of my degree. I was 21, so 2013. And I was like, right, I'm going to have a go at this. My mum helped fund me that summer, and I played like English Am and stuff like that. I think I finished about 5th or 6th to make the cut there. You know what I mean? I had a good finish in the stroke play and then won a couple of rounds, I think, and a few other bits. And I was like, well, I'm going to have a go at this. So I worked that next winter, 13 to 14 in life insurance over here, saved up as much as I could and played a full schedule next year, really, which was good. And that within that next year, I won the Lagonda Trophy. I don't know if you heard of that one.
What tour is this on? Sorry, Tom.
This is just amateur. This is like national stuff. So I won that Lagonda Trophy, which has been won by like Westwood, Luke Donald, boys like that. So that was 72 all. That was quite good. And yeah, picked up a few other good bits in England. Took a liking to me, and I got a call to get in the A squad for the next winter. Really, so it's good.
Who was you playing with at that time? Who was in the A squad? Anyone that we would recognise now that pushed on? Yeah.
Big Sean, yeah.
Big Sean, yeah.
Sean in it,
yeah, he was there.
The granddad, as he self-proclaims.
Yeah, well, I'm not far behind him, but yeah. Yeah, but he is like a father figure, that fella, isn't he?
That was the man, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. Matty Jordan is obviously a very good golfer from around your area, and he's doing really well now. He was in the A squad with me because I actually spent 3 years in that squad. So I've seen a lot of good players go through. None have necessarily. There's a lot of boys who were in the like elite squad, the top squad. Your Ashley Chesters, boys like that, Ben Stowe, guys like they've pressed on. But a lot of the A squad boys aren't necessarily struggling, but then they haven't pressed on as much that you might now know them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
there's
of course.
a real serious amount of talent though. I'm not saying they're not talented, but it's just been the way it goes because there's a lot of depth in professional golf now, really.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like you've had a bit of a grind there then, mate. Obviously working, playing, working, practicing, working, playing, working, practicing. Obviously there's plenty of highs, which we'll talk about in a minute. In the professional game, was there any lows for you throughout all that where you thought, you know what?
Yeah, I mean, the way the ferry to get back home is like there's one at 7 o'clock in the evening from Liverpool, and if you don't make that one, there's one at 2 in the morning, and it gets in at 6 in the morning. The amount of times I've driven for that ferry as a pro, having not earned a lot of money because you're playing Euro Pro, and you drive up because most of them are down south, and you get to Liverpool for 7:30, you've just missed the freaking ferry, and you sat there and you're like, so then you sit around all night. You know what I mean? And you've done it all to earn 300 quid. And it's like, I'd be earning more sat at home do you know what I mean? But it's not what I want to do. So there's plenty of sort of low moments, but I like this sort of having to work, having to do all that. Because every time I'd come out the back of winter and like, right, I do not want to do that. So let's really graft on the golf. So
brilliant.
It's been quite good, I think. Yeah.
If you ever get one of them low moments in Liverpool, just hit us up and we'll come and cheer you up.
Yeah. No, that'd be good. Yeah, go sit in the tea rooms. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Brilliant. So then, talk us through the obviously after the England squad. Then, what year are we there in?
I was 2014 to 17 with them. So I spent 3 years there, probably going backwards more than anything.
Did you? What was the reason for that?
I'd never really been coached. I'd just kind of done it all myself. I just played golf and I played quite well. I learned on the golf course and I got my way around the golf course, and then got to England stuff, and it was like, you might flush 5 shots down the flag, but it was like, no, you need to work on this. You need to do, you know what I mean? It works for some, doesn't work for everyone, I guess. But
of course, yeah.
There was a lot of new stuff to me at that point. Now, the way I am, I was like, I've got to do everything, and kind of got a bit much maybe. So, because I used to have lessons with Jim Payne, great guy, Jim, and a lot of his stuff is literally just if you're blocking it or whatever, he'd get you more fade in it. Sort of, it was very simple, quick fix sort of stuff, whereas this was all quite technical, quite hard to grasp for me. So it was 3 years of kind of struggling a bit, but.
Well, we talk about that now, obviously, on our normal podcast where we reviewed the golf, where the fact that we're putting's a bit technical, so you're finding some of the fellas who are trying something different every week. So you've got Garcia closing his eyes, you've got people with the mag grips, the fat grips, the tall grips, and it's obviously just going back to basics, like you say in there. You find that sometimes that could be a lot easier, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you can. I mean, putting at the end of the day is such a simple. You're only moving the putter like a foot, 2 feet total. You don't have to do a lot, but it's what goes on in your head which makes the difference, isn't it? With that area of the game. So I mean, because I quite like what Sergio does there with his eyes shut. I do it a bit in practice. It stops you thinking and it just puts it all down to feel. It's a really good pace putting drill as well. To kind of see where you're at really in terms of pace on the greens on any different course. So there's loads of different ways of doing it, like you say.
I started doing it a couple of weeks ago. I remember just opening my eyes and this 40-footer was just tracking towards the hole and went in. I was like, yes.
Yeah, that'll stay. Yeah, good, isn't it?
But,
he loves a bandwagon, Kev.
From them 14 to 17, where you're saying you're getting lessons and different things, did you then grasp the lessons and then dig it in and grind it out and do what they were saying, or did you go back to basics?
I kept trying on what I was getting told to do by them, really, by the coaches there. And a lot of it, I mean, what I can't speak highly enough of is how good they taught you how to practice, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So stuff like that still sticks with me now. Like I'll use a lot of the drills, a lot of the stuff I did with England, but a lot of the technical stuff, I was like, well, I've got to do that because I've got to impress that coach if I want to get picked to play in this or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So you felt like you had to do it, which backfired a bit for me. But that was where turning pro for me was the best thing that I've done in years. It was like, I'm just playing for me now. Don't give a crap what anybody thinks or whether they want to select me or not. I'm doing me and I'm going to make the best decisions for me, if you know what I mean.
Well, talk to us about that then, Tom. So obviously you've made that transition. How difficult was that, and how has that changed? Just in the early stages and what it takes to become a professional.
Yeah, well, I turned pro at Q School 2017, stage 1. So it was probably the October or something. I turned pro, I played badly because you turn pro doesn't mean you're going to play well. And then that was me for the winter. So I went back and I think I worked on a building site that winter, and it wasn't much fun. It was raining. I was shoveling sand every day, and whatever. And I kind of was like, right, we need to really work on things. So I did. I went out to Portugal, played a little bit on like the Portugal Pro Golf Tour, which was it was pretty good. Yeah, and then went to Euro Pro qualifying and had some good knocks, and I finished third in the first stage, and then finished 12th, I think, at final stage. When all you got to do final stage make the cut. So that teed me up well. I had full status for Euro Pro for 2018, which was massive, really. And at that point, I was like, this is just for me now. It's not for somebody to pick me or not. And I loved it. It was much better sort of. You've got to get used to trying to make more birdies, but I love that side of the game anyway. So it was kind of cool. It was good.
Are you then, obviously, once you're on the Euro Pro and you're in Portugal and all that, are you then getting lessons, or you're just totally on your own now? Like, you're not.
Yeah, I was kind of at that point. I was checking in with Jim whenever it would go wrong, sort of thing. So I never really had. It was once every month, once every couple of months or something. It was nowhere near as intense as it was with the sort of England stuff. But I'm a bit. You said you're a bandwagon jumper. I was getting a bit that way. I was kind of like, what's flavour of the month on Instagram? Do you know what I mean? I'd give it a try. I was doing anything. I had no direction, which is never going to take you to where you want to get to. So I've now got some really good coaches around me, and it's helped a lot in the last year and a half, which has seen me just make some big jumps. So it's been good.
Brilliant.
So when it's in Portugal and then winters, how are you faring over there? Like, are there any of them Challenge Tour players over there? What's the sort of standard like?
Yeah, there's quite a few Challenge Tour boys play them Portugal stuff, because a lot of the time Challenge Tour doesn't start till sort of May, and then Portugal things are running Jan, Feb, March sort of thing. So
it's like
the standard. Yeah, exactly. The money ain't great in them, and it costs quite a bit to play them, but the standard's good. The guys that run the tours really good, so it's good learning. Like, you're not really there to make money, if you know what I mean. You're only there to warm up and try to get ready as a thing. But yeah, it's something I might look to do again next year. I was actually speaking with Big Sean Townrow again about going out in February maybe. So we'll see how things look, really.
Definitely. And so just going back to when you did turn professional, what are you playing off there, Tom? Just to give an indication to people listening.
Well, the lowest I ever got was plus 4.4, so I never quite got to plus 5, but I turned pro off plus 3 dead maybe. I wasn't at my best, do you know what I mean? I was off. I was at that plus 4.4 before I got an England squad, so you can probably see there that I stalled and sort of, but it kind of handicap sort of is a bit of a funny thing, isn't it? At club, like, it's hard to get your handicap really low at club level, but if you're playing national amateur stuff and standard scratch goes to 5-6 over, it only takes a half decent knock and you lose a shot. Do you know what I mean? Even at that low handicap. So
definitely,
obviously it's all different now, and I don't really know how it works now. Thankfully, it's a bit of a headache, is it?
we tried to do an episode on it, didn't we? And explain it. And it was your best 8 out of your most recent 20 scores is probably the easiest way to explain it.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of complications to it, definitely.
Yeah.
No, as we both didn't have 8 rounds. We both got docked 3 shots, and we're both category 1 2-point odd handicappers, and we're just not.
Yeah.
That's good though.
Yeah.
It's good on paper. It's not good when I step on the first tee and I lose all my shots on the first hole.
Oh, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. Tough battle then.
That's it.
That's good.
Yeah, so you're saying there, obviously you turned pro in 2017, so you've not been pro that long then?
No, I've had, this is my third season, yeah.
Third season as a pro, yeah. So how's that third then? I'll just talk us through that journey then. So obviously you started on the you played a bit in Portugal, and then I understand you've done a couple of seasons on the Euro Pro Tour. So just build that up for us. How did that go?
Yeah, so like I say, I did a bit in Portugal as a warm-up to after turning pro to pre-Euro Pro qualifying, just to get ready for Euro Pro really. And fortunately, like I say, performed well at Euro Pro qualifying, because that's a big pressure sort of environment now. You've got, like, I don't know, there was 250 out at the final stage, and there's only 70 or something going to make the cut. So there's 170, 180 players there who are going to have nothing to play in. Like, so you've got to be on it to give yourself a chance to schedule what you want to do for the season. That, unfortunately, like I say, I played well. And yeah, Euro Pro, I can't speak highly enough of it as a tour, really. It's not cheap for an entry fee.
You're the first one that's speaking highly, like.
Oh, really? I do think I understand people's frustrations with it, but I do think in terms of sort of, I guess now kind of playing at that slightly higher level or whatever, and seeing all the media stuff, and you've kind of seen all that at Europro. You've had cameras around you at Europro and stuff like that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's getting you ready for the bigger events.
Exactly. Which is what they say they are. That's their aim, really. It is a development tour. You're not going to make maybe the top 10 on the order of merit make money at the end of the year. Maybe everybody else is probably in the hole, but if you can get off quickly, it kind of, you know, I think it's good. It's a good development tour, and there's a really good standard of player on there now. So, like I say, I enjoyed it.
Well, how long were you actually on the Euro Pro Tour before you moved to the Challenge?
2018 and 2019, 2 seasons. So I think I finished 42nd on the order merit first season, and then 27th or something, 28th. So slight improvement, and then just had a good run at Q School. I never got close to graduating through the Euro Pro, but I've never really been a consistent for a season sort of guy. I'll have my good weeks, my bad weeks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's just, so then you've qualified through the European Tour Q School, was it?
Yeah.
Last year. So where did you finish, and how did that go?
Yeah. So I had to start off at stage 1. So that was 4 rounds in France at a place called Hardlow. And I was with Big Sean, and Mark Hyde was caddying for Sean at that as well. And I had my brother caddying. So quite a good atmosphere around, you know, between us 4, but it's quite a tense place, really, Q School. But yeah, those 4 rounds, again, I played well. I think I finished 3rd. I was in a run of, I'd had 3 or 4 top 10s on Euro Pro to finish the Euro Pro season. I finished 3rd there, through a second stage, a place called Alenda in Spain, which was hit quite badly by some high winds. So it went into an extra day to get it finished. But again, I finished 3rd there. I played well. And at second stage, I really noticed you get a lot of good golfers, really. Guys dropping down from European Tour, from Challenge Tour, they come in at stage 2. So, but I was quite happy to finish 3rd there. Again, you needed to finish sort of top 20 to get through. And then I got to final stage the week after. And I did pretty good there. That was a really good experience. It was 4 rounds stage 1, 4 rounds stage 2, 6 rounds stage 3. So 14 in total. Yeah, it was.
And I thought you weren't a consistent for a while type of guy. That's probably more rounds I've played all season.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, kind of strung it along. I just got the ball roll. You know, when it gets rolling, doesn't it? You get some momentum going.
Momentum's the one, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, massive. But yeah, so that 6 round final stage, I knew that if you miss the cut, so they do the cut after 4 rounds. I knew that if you miss the cut, you're back to Euro Pro. Even for all your efforts, you don't really get anything worth having on Challenge Tour. And the top, is it 70, made the cut, I think. And I was sort of about bang on 70th going into the 4th round. And I was like, you need a good round of golf here. Do you know what I mean? And but from the moment I stepped on the range to warm up, it was like, we're going to be all right today. Do you know what I mean? I felt good.
It.
And every shot I hit, it was just good. I was in control. And I think I shot 6 under that day to go from just about making the cut to actually I'm now in the top 25, and you need to finish top 25 to get European Tour card. And it was like, right, well, actually, we could have a real good week here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy the pressures though, isn't it? Because I imagine the mindset going into that 70 thinking, if I don't have a good round here, I'm on the Euro Pro, which is tier 3. But if I do a good round, which you did, then the next day you're thinking, I could be on the European Tour card. It's crazy the differences, isn't it?
The good thing I think for me was that it was my first experience at that stage. I was going into it with nothing to lose. I was playing Euro Pro anyway, so I had everything to gain. Whereas you kind of get the vibe from a lot of guys there who are on their way down. Do you know what I mean? They come off European Tour or whatever. Yeah. They've not had the best of seasons. They're a bit more tense. It's a bit more, they need a good result to have their lifestyle they've had or whatever. You know what I mean?
I want to say that about lifestyle. I want on the European Tour, if they had a few good results, they might buy a bigger house, bigger car, think they're set, and next minute they're fighting for the Euro Pro car when the...
Exactly. It's crazy. It's cruel, isn't it? Yeah, literally, because the guy that finishes wherever, 116th or whatever, you need to finish top 115 or whatever it is, race to Dubai. He's probably earned 300 grand for the year, but unlucky, mate, you're going to Challenge Tour next year unless you do, you know what I mean? So it's quite brutal. But yeah, I really felt, because that's a lot of golf in a row, and I'd had the Euro Pro Tour Championships in the middle of that as well. In between stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. So after that 4th round, I woke up the 5th day and I just felt knackered. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was like, I'm top 25 now. I've just used all my mental energy to shoot what I shot to get to the 5th day. And it was like, but I just plugged away and then hold this like 60, 70 footer for eagle on the last to shoot 200 to keep me in the top 25. And I thought, wow, what's that to do?
Unbelievable, yeah.
And then, final day, and I played with Bradley Dredge and Johnny Caldwell, who both ended up getting their cards. And as we played 18, I had an eagle putt again, and Bradley Dredge had an eagle putt, but I knew he was one ahead of me, and the scores said top 25's 11 under. But I had a feeling he would tip it to 12, if you know what I mean, because he was making eagle or birdie. If he birdie, he'd go to 12 anyway. And I left me eagle putt. It just sat on the edge of the frigging hole. And then me birdie meant I finished on -11. And as he happened to make eagle anyway, but the scores did tick to 12 under was the magic number. And I shot 11. So I missed by 1. But like I say, I had nothing to lose and I gained a lot from it. So it wasn't as gutting as people maybe think or whatever.
Yeah, you didn't go away. Obviously, you were still gutted, but you didn't go away as disheartened as some people would have been because you still got your full playing right. First Isle of Man, professional to get the full playing rights on the Challenge Tour as well, we lads.
Sounds good.
Was that on your mind as well when you were over the putt? Like, oh my God, I'm doing it for the Isle.
Yeah, no, it wasn't on that putt, but it does. You know, I'm proud to represent the island and that, and it's good to kind of make history or whatever for the island. It's cool. Like
it's amazing. It's amazing to see the flag on the leaderboard. Because I say we'll talk about it now. Obviously, this season it's been a bit of a crazy one with COVID, but you've had a few European Tour invites, haven't you? And due to your category, so we'll talk about that now. It's good to see that flag on there because you're not used to seeing it. So should be proud, mate. Definitely. So talk us through that. Then obviously it's been a mad year. Obviously, so I'm pretty sure you had your schedule all set for a full Challenge Tour. How's that been affected? And talk us through how this year's gone.
Yeah, it's kind of been. I don't mean to sound bad because obviously COVID's been horrendous and there's a lot of people suffered and it's an awful thing. But I've kind of somehow come out of it kind of lucky in a way to have. I've had a 6-month dress rehearsal for next year, if you know what I mean. I've got to experience European Tour. I've got to experience... I'd played one Challenge Tour event before I got me status at Q School, so I'd literally no idea of anything other than Euro Pro as a professional, really. And then, I played a few events in South Africa at the start of the year, thinking, you know, that was going to be me. It was going to be Challenge Tour for the season. COVID happened, and then because of COVID, I've actually played a lot more on the European Tour than I have on Challenge Tour, which is kind of, in the end, I ended up playing a few challenges at the end of the year, hoping to get to the tour championships, which didn't matter because your status all rolls over anyway. But it would have just been a nice sort of thing at the end of the year. But I hadn't played enough. Basically, I'd only played two tournaments going into that. But I think I played 8 in total on the European tour. So it's been great experience. Great to kind of get to see what that level of golf is like and see where you stand and see what you got to get better at, etc. So it's been really good experience.
And how have you found it, the levels and in comparison? I imagine, is it a big gap or is it?
Again, I going back to, I think Europro, the standard of golf is really good. And I do think a lot of guys on Europro just need that opportunity. And then, but it's a massive thing to be comfortable, I think, at that level. Or, so like I played Portuguese Masters and I made the cut and I ended up playing with Paul Ware, and he was a top lad and like
local
really
lad
good
as
golfer.
well,
yeah,
exactly, yeah, top lad, really good golfer. And I was kind of like, I don't know, I felt like I played all right, and we ended up shooting similar score or whatever. But I kind of made that cut, and I was kind of, I've made the cut, that's good, it's a good week. And then Tommy Fleetwood made the cut, maybe a little bit behind me, but he was there to win it. Do you know what I mean? And lo and behold, he finished second. I finished, no, not saying anything. He's obviously an exceptional golfer, but he's there for that purpose, where I've been there a little bit sort of like, oh, it's a good experience, it's good to learn, or it's good to, do you know what I mean?
He's obviously been at it a lot longer, though, and his expectations
exactly
different, isn't it?
But I think that's the difference in the standard is almost, it's your expectations, it's what he will have seen where he stacks up against the world's best, and he will feel really comfortable with that. Whereas I kind of, it's all been a bit rabbit in headlights, sort of like, you know, there's Tommy Fleetwood on the range or whatever, and try and ignore that, and you're just there, and you are just playing golf, but at the same time, you're like, you don't have a clue where you stand, if you know what I mean. So you're just happy to try and shoot a good score, which.
But knowing that now, then obviously is that, and you say that you're building on that experience, you've got a free go at it. Has that changed your mindset now going to next year? If you get another pop at it, you're thinking, do you know what? I am here to win. I'm not here just to make up the numbers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that has to be the goal. Do you know what I mean? That has to be what I'm trying to do. And I'm not. Once I start to think about outcomes and stuff, I can get a bit lost in it all rather than just trying to do your bit. But certainly, my expectations of myself have gone up because I've actually realised, I've always thought I'm just kind of winging it. I'm doing all right. Do you know what I mean? I don't really know what I'm great at. I'm just kind of, I play golf. I do all right at it. But I kind of realised actually parts of my game are good and there's other parts which need to improve, but I actually feel like I know how and who to go to and what to do to improve them. So I'm quite excited for it, really.
It's one of them as well. We had David Shacklady on, and he was like playing loads of it. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's on the seniors tour. He's playing all 1836s, Northern Pro Tours, and whatever he's been doing around here. And then when he went to the seniors tour, he was like walking around like Woozy and like Montgomery and all these rather like pricey. He's calling them by these names. He's like, I just looked at them, and they're just normal people at the end of the day. So what you're saying there, you see Tommy on the range. Once you have one round with Tommy, you just realise he's just a normal lad.
A normal bloke. And
it's like we before this podcast, I was like, oh, Tom Gandy ought to be in tour player, but now I'm just speaking to he's like just a normal fella.
Yeah, just an idiot who likes a pint. You know what I
mean? Right up our street, that mate.
The more you're in the mix with them and the more you're around them and you actually do a few knocks when you beat them, your confidence is going to grow as expectations, isn't it?
Exactly that. It kind of, I feel like I've been lucky to get some opportunities to get to see what those kind of level of players do at a tournament, if you know what I mean, and to learn from that. And where obviously you've got to play well, you've got to play well at the right times, but playing well doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win, does it? But I certainly feel like I will or should hopefully feel a bit more comfortable next year because of this year, if you know what I mean. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I think you're lucky as well, Tom, because we've Sean came on, and the week later he won the Lancashire match play. So
match play, didn't he?
Bit of a bogey boys blessing, we call it. So pick your next tournament wisely, mate.
I should have gone to Dubai next week then, shouldn't I?
Just jumping back a little minute there. Do you know when you said you got 6 rounds to the final stage of the Challenge Tour?
Yeah.
Is that in a row?
Yeah, 6 days on the spin. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
No wonder you're tired, yeah.
I know everybody thinks you're just playing golf, like, which, you know, you'd play six rounds of golf on a lad's holiday and have 7 nights on the beer, wouldn't you? But
yeah,
you kind of...
I'm pretty sure you're not shooting 400 or 500, though. It's
no, exactly.
The other side of the scorecard.
Yeah, exactly. And you got your warm-up and you practice after, and, you know, you end up there 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day, and you're on your feet all the time. Fat boy like myself, I need to sit down.
I've just got in from 15 holes there. My knees are gone.
Getting old, eh?
I know.
So you talk about obviously the fatigue and that sets in obviously in a 6 day, but I mean, I suppose on tour it's still a 4-day event, isn't it? You're still playing 4 days, maybe a practice day before as well. It's fat sometimes, probably 6, depending on how much practice you're putting in. So what type of team have you got around you? Do you have like a fitness coach and psychology? Do you do any of that? What type of team do you have around you to prepare for that?
I've got a really good team in terms of coming from Isle of Man like I do. We've got like an elite athlete sort of sports academy institute. It's called Isle of Man Sport, and I've got within that my strength and conditioning coach who I do a lot of stuff with, particularly over winter. I mean, he probably hates me for it, but every time I'm away, you know, I want to, because I get quite strong over winter, and you know, you feel good mentally. That I think that helps, and then it comes to the season and all the traveling and all the golf, and it just tails off. So I still struggle with that a little, but yeah. And then I've got Duncan McCarthy, who's Underpin Sports for performance and psychology stuff. So we started working together this year, and we've made some good steps forward, I think. So yeah, I'm quite lucky. And then I have a putting coach, Graham Roberts, who is down in Cheshire. Sean, he actually coached a bit up at SNA recently, did some short game lessons, I think. He's really good. I started working with Graham 2019 summer, and just literally put a new system in place from a putting, and it was like, actually I can putt now. So, you know what I mean? It was a massive difference. And then, like I say, I went on that run at top 10s and Q school. So that was good. And my long game coach, Charlie Simpson, he's at Castown over here. So he's like one of my mates, and it's great crack. See him most days really for practice and as a look over stuff. So it's been really good having a team of my choosing around me. I'm working on stuff that between us we can, you know, we need to get better at or whatever. Whereas, like, going back to the England sort of stuff, it felt a bit like this was their model and you kind of had to sort of fit into it a little. It's not like that. It's probably a bit of a disservice on them, but that's how I sort of felt a little bit. So I've been quite enjoyed taking ownership of it myself, if you know what I mean.
You know what? You wouldn't be the first person to actually say that. So not about the England setup, but we had a pro on that spoke about the Scottish setup, and he was like, "I wouldn't kiss the right asses, I wouldn't say the right things, and I never got picked for the squad." So
yeah, it's kind of it's the one time in our sport where you are judged, and that's like, it's not necessarily just done on numbers; it's done on, you know what I mean. That's the best thing with golf is if you shoot 70 and I shoot 72, you win. That's it.
Yeah.
But they would still find a way to pick the guy who shot 72. At times, if they liked him more than, you know what I mean.
Well, he said that as well. He said it's not what you know, it's who you know.
A lot of the time, well, again, I enjoyed my time there, and I really enjoyed all the coaches. But at times, you know,
things feel like that.
Yeah,
feel like that. Yeah. So, what was it like playing on the air? I know we've obviously touched on it there. So, you've played more on the European tour. You played the Masters. What other tournaments did you play this year on the European tour, and what were they like?
I started in January at the SA Open. That was really cool. That was my first tournament since Q school. Yeah, that was really good. And then I played, where did I play? I played a load of Ryder Cup venues in a row. I played a Belfry, I played Kettle Manor, I played, Hanbury Manor as well. That's not a Ryder Cup venue, and then I went to Valderrama, which was one of the best places I've ever been. Couldn't believe how good it was. I played awful, but I didn't care. It was beautiful. And I can't even remember where else I've been. Yeah, I can't off the top of my head, but there was, I've had a good run of it over summer, and it's been really good. I played Italy as well, Scotland and Italy. Yeah, sorry.
So the Axel, was it Fairmont? Was it Fairmont?
Fairmont, yeah. Which, I don't know if you've ever been, but they were some of the best greens I've ever putted on there.
Well, I went in September and played the Castle course next door. And they're crazy. Have you played the Castle course before?
I'm not sure. I don't think I have played that one. No.
No, it's an amazing it's so picturesque. You'll know off Fairmont what it's like along the coast and things like that. But yeah, the greens, some of them are a bit Mickey Mouse greens. It's just
really,
like you fall off a cliff edge and you've gone you're 80, 90 foot away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's another 5 shots from me from there.
Is that where all your first putts were going?
Unfortunately, you know me too well. So now back to you then, Tom. So what's next then, mate? What are the plans moving forward? Because you've got you don't. So I take it then, because of what's happened with COVID, you don't lose any of your playing rights. You don't have to go through the Q school. So have you got
no?
This give you more time to prepare, or how's it work?
Yeah, it's impossible to know really. So everything stays the same. Like, you don't lose your status. The only thing that will happen for me in terms of my European Tour category is that there's a category for winners and there's a category for Challenge Tour winners as well, which is slightly ahead of mine. So every Challenge Tour event that's been played this year, the winner of that will now go ahead of me. So I might not get in as many European Tour events, but it's impossible to say. They haven't published any sort of schedule for Challenge Tour for next year. There's talk of going back to South Africa in February, March for Challenge Tour, but wait to find out on that really. And then, European Tour is just every one of the events I played has been, you find out on the Tuesday basically, and you team up on the Thursday. Yeah, they've all been really late notice, so I just have to. Because some of them, I was sort of 40th reserve, the entries closed, and I was like, oh, well. And then all of a sudden on the Monday, you get the email to say you're second reserve, are you going to go? Oh, right. Well,
and what if you're not anywhere near the place, like?
Well, that's it. You just got to find a way to get there, or you don't go, really.
Yeah.
So it's tough, it's tricky, but being fortunate that a lot of the European Tour stuff this year was in the UK or in mainland Europe, so it hasn't been too bad. But
yeah.
Yeah, and you just stand up and be like, "Oh, but come on, I've travelled all this way."
It does happen. One of my mates for Challenge Tour, he travelled out to South Africa at the start of February, didn't get in as first reserve, and just flew home to South Africa. Like, can you imagine?
Oh my!
They knew he was on site, and you'd think, "Come on, just let us go out at the end of the field, will you?" But no.
Even just let us play and pretend I'm in the zone.
Exactly. I won't take no money. I just want to knock.
I'll even pay me green fee.
So we'll see. Really, I don't know. Hopefully, things can clear up, can't they? If this vaccine comes in or whatever, and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit unknown at the moment, isn't it? But yeah, hopefully it will be. So what's the plans over the winter? Then are you just going to stay in the Isle of Man and just? Have you got no tournaments lined up now? Then before
I don't really know. I don't know. Yeah, I'd have got in Dubai next week, but I decided against it. I could have hung around in the UK, but I had to stay in a hotel. Golf courses are short anyway. It was too far out to know if I'd have got in Dubai. Like I say, the reserve stuff drops off quickly. So, and then if I've come home, I've isolated for 2 weeks. It's not been good not being at home, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
I'm not going to go for a week to come back to do 2 more weeks that close to Christmas. So, I just got to wait and find out what happens in the new year, really. But if it drags, I'll probably try to get a job doing something. But we'll see. Really, it's hard to tell at this point.
It's interesting there that you're obviously you think like European Tour and like Challenge Tour that you're there, but then you're still talking jobs. So then again, this professional route always comes down to money every time, every level, even at that level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I am really, really fortunate coming from where I come from. That there's a lot of guys who want to support me and sponsor me, and I am very lucky in that regard, but I see that as that's funding me to play golf, but you still got to live in between now and Challenge Tour. If it doesn't happen in February going to South Africa, it's not going to be till May. So it's a long time to just practice and sit around in it. So I don't know. We'll have to play it by ear, really. Hopefully, I'm hoping every day we're going to get an email giving us an idea of what next year looks like, but obviously it's hard for a tour. Yeah, the tour don't even know. Nobody knows what travel's going to look like, do they? So it's hard to say. But
with there being nothing on the horizon, then wouldn't have Dubai been the go then? No.
Yeah.
In hindsight, is that sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's just this isolation. Every time I come home, it's a killer. Like I haven't swung a golf club. I've been doing some short game stuff in the garden, but I haven't swung a golf club for 2 weeks. To go out to Dubai to try get sharp in 3 days to play a tournament. You know what I mean? It's a lot. Yeah, probably in hindsight, like you say, there might have been a way to do it, but it's just, you know.
It's so interesting that you're in isolation, because we've had a couple of podcasts and I've been like, how's Terrell Hatton playing there? Then he's going to Portugal, then he's in America, and then he's coming back, and there doesn't seem to be no isolation period for these people.
Well, you kind of, every time you go to the tournament, you're in a bubble, so you got to be tested upon entry and whatever. So right. Then it's all like that. But the European Tour have been able to get an agreement with like the UK government, so you get an exemption from quarantine. You're not allowed to go to bars and stuff, but you can go out and practice and that. But my government over here, our government have told me they're not having it. So,
is that why you wanted to stay in the UK?
So I got quarantine like everyone else. Exactly. Yeah. So
stay away from your family a bit longer and all that. It's tough. It's a tough decision, isn't it? I imagine.
Yeah, it's not the easiest. Like, but here's why there's worse problems in the world, isn't there?
No, exactly. Yeah.
So we'll take Sean and Mark out the equation, because I know they'd be 1 and 2. Who's the best player you've ever played with, Tom?
In terms of actual world ranking and stuff, I guess it'd be Paul Waring. But I tell you what, I played with Masahiro Kawamura. I don't know, Japanese guy. I played with him.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
I've never seen a short game like it. Like think good and just out of this. So, and that's a part of the game I'm not. That's not a strength necessarily, or hasn't been in the past. And to watch somebody do what he did the way he did, I was just so impressed by it. So I've always been impressed by the boys who are in their late 30s, 40s, whatever, still earning good money. I played with Wade Ormsby, he's in his 40s and he's just like straight. If he misses the green, it's probably the chip is going to have a look. He's going to hold his putts. He just so efficient. You know what I mean? I get more impressed by that than I would Wilco Nienaber. Might be a bit different, but you know what I mean? Watching somebody sling driver miles, it's kind of, that's cool, but can you actually score unbelievably well? Well, those are the people that impress me, I think.
Yeah, we spoke about Wilco Nienaber that last week, didn't we, Kev? About unbelievable 460-odd yard drive, and he just bombs it, doesn't he?
Well, that whole that is, I played with a lot, because I played that tournament at the start of the year, and I played with James Dupree. He's a South African guy, but he's 6'10", and he, like, I thought I'd hit an half decent one there, because you're at altitude and it's whatever. And I think I hit it about 340, 350 down there. And it had to be 100 yards past me. Had to be. Like, he was so far down. But we both made 4. So it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of one of them, innit? But yeah, that Nienaber, I was at the Belfry and like, he was on the range, and even Lee Westwood stopped and got his phone out to record him swing it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody is kind of, he's got to be a little bit careful not to be a show pony sort of thing. He's obviously got to have other skills, and he obviously does, because he's very, very good. But
he was unlucky last week, wasn't he, with the bogey finish? But he's up there again this week, isn't he?
Do you know the bad thing is about him? I only watched him play 2 holes, and he went 6-6 down these par 4, par 5, and I was thinking, he's shite.
Yeah, you can do that, eh?
I'll show well more 6s than him.
Yeah, but there's plenty of guys. Well, there's not plenty of guys that long, is there? But that's something I did find. I haven't found. Well, maybe it's just the people I've played with who. It's not like that many people bomb it that far. Do you know what I mean? I know the fad at the moment is that you've got to hit it as hard and as far as you can. Everybody wants to be Bryson sort of thing.
All speed, yeah. What's your opinion on that then? What do you think? Have you incorporated that into your practice or anything, or have you just done what you know?
I'd be lying if I didn't feel like I needed to get better at it. I've got speed sticks now. You know, it is part of my gym stuff. But at the same time, like, there's plenty of guys still winning on the PGA Tour who aren't bombers, aren't there? But you do look at the top in the world rankings, those boys do bomb it, don't they? So it clearly is shifting that way. Maybe just what the golf I've seen hasn't quite, as in I've come to the European Tour and played some events, and maybe I've seen the guys who are still efficient and making scores and not quite seen the young bombers coming through just yet. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Obviously it's there. In the PGA Tour it seems different, but the golf courses they seem to play don't seem to have much of an issue if you want to hit it offline either. So I don't know.
Just a quick one about yourself there again. What are your strengths and like weaknesses actually on the course, so to speak?
Yeah, I think I'm a good iron player generally. Mid long irons, I tend to make more birdies with a 5-iron than a wedge. It seems to be, but I don't know. Yeah, that's one of my strengths. I feel like I'm a pretty good driver of the ball in terms of fairways and stuff. I don't bomb it, but I'm not sure either. I'm pretty average but straight, and then good with an iron. But I've got a lot better at putting, and I'm working on the short game pitching side of things, trying to get those really tight as well, because that's where it's at. That's where your score's made, isn't it?
That's it, yeah.
100%. Well, look, it's been great today to get some insight into what you're doing and your journey, where you've been representing the Isle of Man. It's amazing to see, mate. Yeah.
Nice one. No, it's been good.
Now that you've got the Bogey Boys blessing, you should actually try and get the first flight to Dubai, man.
Yeah, should really. Guaranteed win, innit?
Yeah, that's it.
You're here to do it first, yeah?
Yeah. Too late.
Well, but I appreciate you taking the time to speak to us, mate. And I hope I know it's only one day to go, but once the isolation's up, you get yourself back out there playing. Of course, it's still open in the Isle of Man and everything's still normal.
Yeah, it's all as normal. Yeah, they had like Christmas light switch on the other day, and I saw a photo, and there was about 8,000 people there or something, all like packed in. It's like, it just looks so strange because obviously it's not like that anywhere else in the world at the moment. But we are lucky. This tough border policies kept it out to an extent. So we're quite lucky to carry on. So as of Sunday, I'll be down the pub for a pint, I think.
Not jealous at all. But next time you're over, mate, just give us a shout. We'll have a catch up.
Yeah, we'd love to.
You get out and have a game with the Bogey Boys, see if you can beat us.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. Yeah,
plus 2-1 to you it is, by the way.
Yeah, 2-on-1, yeah. With loads of shots.
No, good. Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you taking the time, mate.
No worries at all.
And we wish you the best of luck for next year. Obviously, we'll be keeping an eye on you and keeping in touch. And thanks for sharing your story with us. Really good.
No problem at all. I've enjoyed it. Thanks.
Good luck with that. Good luck next season.
Cheers, boys.
Good luck with everything, Tom.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Right here, so we topped it. Cole topped it. Okay. Ready to go? Yeah. 8-iron. We shanked it. Oh, look at that line, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, boy, is he on the sink.